personal toiletries, that sort of stuff. If you think you're going to run out, or you've forgotten something, now's a good time to buy it, because there's not a real lot in the way of decent stores now until we get to Ceduna, which is another 3 days.
Do we have power outlets?
Sorry?
Do we have electrical outlets?
Won't have, no, you won't have tonight. You will tomorrow night at Wheel, the caravan park in Fowler's Bay. That's got power there.
Park along the bay and harbour in Port Augusta. We had lunch of sandwiches, and down here to the supermarket where the van will be. Pleasant little place for the people who live here. This is a particularly lovely day. The temperatures, I don't know, I guess it to be around 75, something like that. Lovely time. As opposed to the tremendous heat that I imagine. And these are some kind of what look like a very prefab apartment units or condo units. Notice they don't require insulation in the roof or walls. Some pretty little pool. Looks like a pretty efficient little system. Just a little closer look at this. I think the temperatures are so incredibly hot that they for some reason don't feel that insulation is something they need to mess with. And of course the comparison with Arizona is that they've learned that that's exactly what they need to mess with, and so everything gets, probably the new houses, almost as well insulated as they are in Jackson Hole. But this is a cute little inexpensive, it looks like, prefab system.
Takes water right across the Eyre Peninsula. Graffiti artists get out and have a ball because it's way out in the middle of nowhere. No one does anything about it, so it's always interesting to see what new things they've painted.
Storage tanks were for the water, this water line, which continues on now. Storage tanks there set up a reservoir, of course. We just went through the gap between the Thunder Range. That allows for this road to be allowed for it to be done easily. In the small town of Iron Knob. It was the birthplace of the iron and the steel industry of Australia. Apparently they knocked off 150 feet overfill off the top of the mountain, and then it was pure grade iron ore, the part that they found anyway, and that's what they strip mined out. This was abandoned in the late 80s, presumably because of depletion.
Famous for a couple of things. If you're driving from Sydney to Perth, you would now be exactly halfway. So you now tell people that you've been halfway across Australia. And it's also famous for a hideous large fiberglass galah. The only reason I can think of that they've got a galah here is that galahs are just popular in this part of the world. But a lot of Australians towns have big things in them. They're just a sort of an Australian thing that we do. We've got big lobsters and big oranges and big apples and big bananas. So Kimber has its big galah. These are some wheat silos or grain silos, these big white things on the right hand side that I was telling you about. This is the old style, and I think on the other side of town there's some of the newer style ones as well. And the tourist gift shop has their snacks and coffee and drinks and things, and there's also quite a lot of interesting local jewellery and other souvenir-y things you can have a look at.
And then apparently they develop a pod, like a pea pod, and then the pod becomes food for something. But some bird knows how to get the pollen out of here, a bird with a long beak. And she says the bird's very gentle when it doesn't hurt the flower at all.
Okay, everyone awake? Yes. No? Okay. We've almost got back to the coast now. This body of water next to us here is Venus Bay. It's quite a large bay. We're just actually coming into a town called Port Kenny.